Hey there, you're listening to The Mighty Mommy with some quick and dirty tips for practical parenting. I received an email from a listener who was kind enough to let me share her story. Megan writes, my husband was recently injured by a tree limb. Similar to the Harry Potter whomping tree, my husband was hit in the face and subsequently had reconstructive surgery. Post-surgery, we were told that my husband would be going home that day. My children had not seen him in the hospital because he was in ICU, and now I would be taking him home. It's important to note that his lips were similar to Angelina Jolie, except 10 times the size. He was black and blue, and his jaw wired, so what he could say was very hard to understand. Megan wrote more, but I'll get to that in a moment. When one parent is injured, ill, or in any type of recovery state, the other is often left to care for the patient and the kids. This can be very hard on everyone. In this case, Mom was already very concerned about her husband and dealing with her own emotions. The stress of this type of situation can be very draining on anyone. Megan continued her story, telling me how her 3 children were affected by their father's appearance. The older children had some difficulty approaching him, but her 1-year-old didn't seem to notice the difference. Megan understood these reactions, but had some difficulty finding suggestions on how to handle them. Luckily, she was able to get some help. And lucky for us, she was kind enough to share these tips with me so that I can share them with you. Since 2 of her children were old enough to help, Megan definitely wanted to get them on board. One of the suggestions she received was to make a chain out of construction paper with the same number of links as the number of days it would take Dad to get better. She modified this suggestion using a desk calendar and marking off the days until the expected full recovery. In the meantime, she had listed both of the older kids to help her in areas that didn't immediately involve spending a lot of face time with Dad. She had her helpers assist in the process of making liquid food, washing linens, and gradually working up to deliver items to their dad as they became more comfortable with his appearance. Finally, she mentioned in the chaos of the situation she'd made the decision not to call her pediatrician for advice. When she visited her pediatrician for another situation and had talked to him about her husband and the kids' reactions, he reassured her that it's always okay to call. This is one of the most important things to remember. Your pediatrician or family doctor will have the experience with these type of situations and may be able to give you some much-needed peace of mind, as well as a reminder to take care of yourself. Your doctor can make recommendations to professionals if you or the kids need someone else to talk with. This is especially important if you are emotional, depressed, or just stressed out. If you want to take care of everyone else, remember, you absolutely have to be as mentally and physically healthy as you can under the circumstances. Don't forget to include other trusted friends and family members who are willing to take part in helping out. Every little bit counts. I want to thank Megan for sharing her story with me and allowing me to pass it on to my listeners. It was very inspiring and the suggestions were very simple, yet it's not always easy to figure out what to do next when you're in the still just figuring out how to cope phase. As of our last correspondence, Megan's husband was on the mend and healing nicely. I'm sure he's even further along now, and I wish their family the best. As a podcast listener, you may already be aware that the Podcast Awards nominations are currently open. If you enjoy this podcast or any of the other Quick and Dirty Tips shows, please visit podcastawards.com and nominate our shows. It would mean a lot to all of us. That's it for now. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to request a topic for the Mighty Mommy, you can email me directly at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com or leave a message by calling 206-202-2185. This is your friend, the Mighty Mommy, wishing you happy and fun parenting.